are a government agency, but we have to start operating more like a business. We are going to have limited resources. And in order to do our jobs and do them better and faster and smarter, we have to leverage the technology that's available. And part of that comes from implementing the best practices that are going on in business across the world. And these companies have systems that they've built into how they process everything from Kaizen and Lean Six Sigma and all of those concepts are kind of different to government. Most government hasn't thought about their operations in terms of how can we do it better, faster, cheaper, and still get a great product out. Because we'd already used DocuWare to go to an electronic system for managing our paper, I had gone to the step that I could go to myself. I had taken our request forms and the information we needed for them and created a fillable PDF that was on my website. But again, once that PDF came into the office, someone was manually re-entering that data into our system, and I still couldn't get any reports out of the data that was coming in. One of the sessions that I attended as part of my CPM certification class was on process management and process mapping. And in looking at how we transmit information internally, we email each other, we do all these things and there's no tracking of it. And then also the citizen requests that are coming in through our website. It just made sense to combine those two processes into something where we could actually get data out of how many child support requests, how many of everything that were coming in and being handled, and how timely our response was. In identifying issues that I wanted to address as clerk and how to make our process better internally and serve our customers better, I was actually talking with Jim Barnbrook one day and said, I'm having trouble finding how many times are we doing a marriage license decree? How many times are we providing a certified copy of divorce decree? And he mentioned that SBS Portals had been developing something for another government agency and thought it would be a good opportunity for me to take a look at that and see if it would meet my needs. What the SBS portal has given me is the opportunity to give customers multiple ways to access our information. If they phone in, my employees can type in the information in the request form while they're on the phone. They can come into my office at a kiosk and submit the information electronically right there, or they can do it from the comfort of their home if they know the information that they need to submit. What this allows is us to leverage the technology so that we can serve all of our constituents and improve our internal processes in a dramatic fashion. Implementing the portal has been relatively easy. They've taken our forms that we already had created and created them in a different way so the information is automatically put into the tracking system. And the training that was done for my staff hands-on, and it was about an hour for each session. They all got to play in the system a little bit, and we had a few days before we went live to get a little more comfortable with it. It's been a great process, and we've had a few modifications we needed done. Once you're using a system, you learn things that need to be improved or changed, and just very responsive. It's just been a great experience. So this is the login screen for an internal user into the system. Quick login, it's all internet based, so there's no server need at the county level. And what I typically go to first is the dashboard, and I look at the task dashboard. And this tells me we have 31 in-process activities right now. We've completed 92, so since we went live about 8 days ago, we've had 123 requests received. It also will tell me who has how many requests. And this is one of the features that I was talking about, tracking the money, which is until it gets paid, it goes into a kind of a holding queue called outstanding payments. When the money comes in, the clerks at the desk get the cash or the check, and they can find this, they can show it was paid, and then it's gone from here. So at any time right now I have 18 tasks that haven't been paid for that we've completed. I can also see see how long it's taking specific individuals to reply to requests. With the setup that we did, certain individuals inside my office get specific request forms that come in. Background checks go to the same person, divorce decrees go to the same person, copies of marriage licenses go to the same person. So it's kind of streamlined that. If someone's out, we can modify where that goes and reassign those so they're not sitting there until that person comes back. This is the dashboard that shows me the minimum time to respond, the maximum time to respond, what the average completion time was, and the standard deviation. So I can tell from this that a background check typically takes us 2 hours and 42 minutes to respond to. Is that an appropriate amount of time? I need to look at those specific requests. Are they having to go into microfilm records because it's an old case that they're looking for? Or is it someone who needs more training with DocuWare? So this is Diana Zahn. She's my chief deputy clerk, and she probably is much more hands-on with the portal than I am at this point, other than getting information out of it. And she's going to reassign some tasks who are assigned to one person who's not here today. So she's going to get those tasks and reassign them to someone who is, so they can be processed.
So the point here being that if someone's not in, they're homesick, they're on vacation, you still have someone that can...
Correct. So there's never a reason for someone's task or someone's request to not be responded to, since we can go in, look in everyone's basket, see if there are things that need to be processed onto someone else.
Okay.
So it's a pretty straightforward process, and just like that, it was sent to another employee so that the request can be processed and completed.
So basically it can just be done in seconds.
Mere
Any of that
seconds.
transference of information can be just done in seconds.
Right. And if someone's out long term, we can actually go in behind the scenes and say, okay, those requests normally go to this person, now I want them to go to this person, and modify that so that we don't have to do this manually on each one.
Okay, and for you that's significant to have someone transferring and tracking?
Absolutely, because it means nothing's sitting in someone's inbox. The portal cost is a per user setup, and so that means that you can fit it to fit your office. So if you have 2 people in your office, you have 2 people that you have to pay access for. If you have, I have 12 right now who are on the system. We'll probably expand that out, and you just as you add on users and you increase your efficiencies, it pays for itself by adding on additional users into the system. There's no capital investment, there's no annual fee, it's a per month expense, and I pay for that directly out of my records perpetuation because it's all about my records. So what that means is that we're no longer sending out records and not knowing if we get paid, and there's a direct correlation to paying for this process for the portal and what we're going to bring back in, because now there's a way for us to follow up, send an email if someone hasn't paid, maybe remind them, maybe they didn't get the documents and we need to know they didn't get those documents. And so if we send them an email saying, we mailed you documents and you haven't paid, and then they can reply back and let us know they never got them, and we can follow up then.